In this Python series, we will cover everything you need to know to start programming in Python. If you want to learn Python programming for things such as machine learning, data science, or web development, this series is for you. First thing you need to do is go to python.org and download the latest version of Python. After you download the installer package, simply double-click it. It doesn't show me the installation settings since I already have it. So make sure to check the Add Python to Path and customize your own installation, then finish installation. You will be able to see these necessary files in order to be able to run Python. Next, you need to download a code editor to write the code and execute it. Search up jetbrains.com/PyCharm. You will want to download the most popular code editor, PyCharm. Click on Download. Then download the Community Editor Edition. After downloading, make sure to double-click the installer and download the editor by finishing the installation. And then after you open it, first time you open PyCharm, you have to configure a few settings, but for now, we will just press skip remaining and set default. Now go to Main Menu, click on New Project. Pick a name for your file. Now click on Create and then this window. And then in this window, we will see the content of our project. Currently, we have one folder in this project that is vinv, which stands for virtual environment. So currently, we don't have any Python files inside this project. We can create one by right-clicking the project name, then go to New and press Python File. We can call it App, and now we can start our first Python code. We are going to write print all in lowercase, then parentheses, and inside we can either double quote or single quote. And inside those quotes, we are going to write hello world, which we call a string. A string can be a sequence of characters, which in simple language means textual data. So in any programming language, when we have to deal with a string, we should always surround our text with quotes. Now the print we see here is a function built into Python, and we can use it to print a message on our window. And now after this, we can go on the top window and press Run and select the app we created to execute. After we run the program, we will have a little window on the bottom that we call the terminal window, and it shows the output of our program, which will show the message printed on our window, Hello World. Now, as you learn more Python, you will be able to build more complex applications. But that is a bit more advanced, so we will leave it for later. All right, now let's talk about variables, which we can use to store data temporarily in our computer's memory. For instance, we can store names, emails, ages, and such. First, to declare a variable, we start by typing a name for that variable. Let's say age, then you add an equal sign and a value, 30, for example. So with this, we are storing the number 30 somewhere in our computer summary, and we are attaching this age as a label for that memory location. So now we can read the value at this value location and read it at the terminal. So instead of printing hello world, we want to print the value of the age variable. So I am going to delete what we have inside parentheses and type age. Note that I am not adding quotations, because if I run this program, we are going to get the word age on the terminal. We don't want that. We want the value of the age variable, so we remove the quotes and print the value of the age variable. Now we can press run on the toolbar. Now we can see the value of the age variable. Now we can also change the value of a variable. For example, on line 2, we can set age to 40. And now when we run the program, we are going to get 40. So as you can see, the program gets executed from top to bottom. Now let's look at a few more examples. So I am going to declare in another variable called price and set it to 15.55. So in Python, we can use numbers with a decimal point or whole numbers. We can also declare a variable and assign it a string value. Let's say, for example, first underline name. So if you want to use multiple words in the name of a variable, we should separate them using an underscore. This makes our code more readable. See what would happen if I didn't use this underline? It is a lot harder to understand. Now we set it with a string. We can use quotes as we learned. Let's say the name is Zach. We also have a special type of value called Boolean value, which can be true or false, similar to yes and no in English. Let me show you dot dot. So I want to declare another variable called is underscore online and set it to true. You can also set it to false. The true and false value is called a Boolean value. Now you also have to know that Python is a case sensitive language. Lower and uppercase letters affect it, and it would show as an error. Now, I will have a little exercise for you. Imagine you write a program for a student whose name is Sam Will. He is 17 years old and he is a new student. I want you to declare a few variables to store these values. Use the comment section to share your answer with others. In this tutorial, I am going to teach you how to receive an input from the user. So now in Python, we have a built-in function called input. We use this to read a value from the terminal window. We add parentheses, then we type a string message. What is your name? Followed by a space and press run. Now in the terminal, it allows us to enter a value, click after the output message. And as you can see, it allows us to enter something in the space we typed over there in the string message. So now let's type a value, let's say John, and then press enter. This function will return the value we entered in the terminal window. So we can get that value and store it in a variable. Now let's declare a variable called name and set it to the return value of the input function. Now we can enter a greeting message for this user. We can use the print function and say, hello. Then space, and now after this string, we want to enter the value of the name variable, so we use a plus sign and type name. What we are doing here is called a string concatenation, which allows us to combine this string with this other string. Now let's run the program and see what happens. Let's say Zach in it. We'll say, hello, Zach. That is how we can use the input function in Python.